Hey everybody, it's David Eisner from Kibly, and we're here today with the awesome Dave Lindenbaum, and he's one of our customers, and we got him here today because he was so generous enough to give us some of his time and just answer a few questions about his experience with Kibly and let you guys know, just what the experience has been like for him and what it might be like for you, if you're thinking about signing up. So let's just get directly into the questions. Dave, I just want to ask you, what is your business, on Amazon? What, you don't have to give away your exact product or anything like that, but just, what kind of seller are you on Amazon?
Sure. So, no, I'm happy to share. In 2006, I started a kombucha company. For those that don't know, kombucha is a fermented kind of funky hippie tea. It's at the time, I got really into it. I was working for a tea company actually, so I was already into tea. And our main products were kits on how to make this stuff at home because it's in Whole Foods, but it gets a little expensive. It's like $4 or $5 a bottle, and so we show you how to make it for 19, 25 cents a bottle. So I was a traditional e-commerce retailer, had that experience for about a decade now, and started selling on Amazon about 5-6 years ago. But what I noticed was recently, originally like 80-90% of my revenue was from my website and 20% was from Amazon. And nowadays it's switched. So the power of Amazon is just, it's insane. So now 80% of my revenue is coming from Amazon and 20% on my own e-commerce store.
So you've got your own private label, right? And basically you're sourcing it, you're shipping. Are you using FBA? Are you shipping it to Amazon? And
yeah, so we're that's why I speak so freely about what I do, because we're not even really private labeling. We have our own in-house manufacturer of the majority of our products. It's hard work, but it creates a kind of a barrier to entry. So we're not slapping on a sticker on a milk frother from AliExpress. Nothing wrong with that if you guys are doing that. But we innovate and create our own products. The majority of them are Amazon, FBA, and always have been. And now we're experimenting with some things that we thought would be cost prohibitive to do FBA. But we're going to start experiment with that, because if it obviously increases sales and conversion rate with FBA, it might make up for it on volume. And then, so since the kombucha thing, the last year, I started 2 other businesses on Amazon, not really related to kombucha at all, that I can't really talk about so much because there might be some, a little bit more competition.
You have a lot of experience with Amazon. You've done very well for yourself, and you've looked at the different channels and whatnot. Let me ask you, how did you hear about Kibly?
Yeah, so
I actually know the answer to this because I was there, I think.
Yeah, and this is hilarious. So we met at the Traffic and Conversion Summit. It's a marketing summit in San Diego. It was my second year being there, and well, I got to give you props, man, because they give out if anyone's listening ever gone to these events, they give you this little swag bag, but instead of I don't know, awesome cologne and fancy pocketbooks that they probably give to the Oscars, here it's just buy our stuff, come to this expo booth and learn about our product. So, you guys stood out from the beginning, because on all the little pamphlets and information, it's just attention Amazon sellers or something. So it hit me right like a ton of bricks. And I went over to your booth, and usually I said this, I think after I signed up, or probably after I signed up, I'm like, man, I never sign up for any of these things here. I actually would, when I worked for a tea company before starting Get Kombucha, we spent so much money on these things, and they never really had the ROI. And
so you spend a lot of money on on follow-up systems for through Amazon. Is that what you're saying? Or?
Oh no, sorry. No, we spent a lot of money going to summits, renting out space in an exhibit booth, and they never proved to be that well. And usually, so I went in with a low view of not an open mind of signing up for any service or product at an expo. And when I spent just minutes with you guys, and you guys actually had the product to demo right then and there, it was like a no-brainer. So I just signed up on the spot, which is something I never do.
Were you using a similar type service? At Kibly, if you guys don't know specifically what it does, it follows up with your customers, helps you get more feedback, reviews, and sales. And basically, you were using something like that? There are some other services on the market. So
yeah, can I mention it, because it probably would help people?
Yeah, totally.
Okay, so I was using a service called Feedback Genius, and this is what I found out. I've been doing this for 10 years, and so I have a lot of thanks and gratitude towards that company, because they were the first ones that I was privy to. It was recommended by somebody else, and just some recommendations alone, like, okay, I should do this. I signed up, and because I had nothing to compare it to, I'm like, this is the greatest thing ever. But just because something works doesn't mean it works the best, and doesn't mean it works now, because it's something I signed up for 2 years ago. But that went into my decision, because I already had this thing set up, but
right.
Quite frankly, I used it for what it was doing, but any time I should have customized something or added something, not to get into the technical details right now, but like when you add a new product SKU, if you want an autoresponder email sequence to go out that is more customized towards that product SKU, in Feedback Genius, it was like, it was one of those things where you should do, but you just kept putting off. Like, a friend that you're supposed to call, and then you just, okay, I'll call later. And then all of a sudden you just begin to resent it, because it was so just frustrating to use. So it worked, but not always the easiest. And
so what do you think the main thing was that moved you to switch?
So, you guys stated a promise, and then you guys actually delivered on that promise. And so most people do the first half, but not the second. So you guys said, hey, listen, I know you already have a whole bunch of products in here, it already set up in Feedback Genius, but we promise you in 5 minutes you can integrate this thing and move everything over. And I'm like, how are you, because this wasn't my first rodeo. I'm like, how to, so I was challenging you guys. You guys had answers for everything. And I could point out specific details. So the first thing is you guys were able to pull all my SKUs into Kibly, which at the time, so I don't know if Feedback Genius can do this, but when I signed up, I couldn't. So I had to keep going over. I had 20 tabs opened up on my Chrome web browser, copying and pasting, making sure, wait, is this the right product to this? So that's the first thing, that everything got pulled in. The second thing is you already had pre-installed templates. And so what I mean by that is not only did it technically work with short tags, so I didn't have to figure out, go to this page and figure out what the short tags are what I mean by short tag is like, click here to leave us a review, or if you have any questions, email us here. I didn't have to figure that stuff out, because not only did you have it, which for the standard, that's almost now like, okay, that's a cool feature. You have that ability, but the fact that it's already there, done for me in the email, that was something I did not see anywhere. In addition to the copy, you already had subject headlines and email copy that was already pre-written and defaulted for all of my products. And it was funny because you guys were saying this, and I was like, okay, but I have different products that have different, that might require slightly different tweaking, right? Like on one of my products, I give out an ebook, so I want to be able to attach it. On my other products, because I started these two other brands, I don't want them knowing that it's me from Get Kombucha. I want them knowing it's me from my other two product brands, right? So when I said that, you guys were like, oh yeah, well, no, you could do that too. So the thing that seemed like,
So it's like really easy to do and really fast to set up, but also super customizable.
yeah, absolutely,
So
absolutely,
did you,
yeah.
were you aware that we were, like twice as cheap, or was that a factor for you at all, like the pricing?
Quite frankly, it was, but not nearly as important. And I think, and again, everyone who's doing selling on Amazon is in a different stage in their business. For me, an extra $20, $50 a month is not going to change anything. Saving an extra 20 minutes to 50 minutes a month will. I prefer that over 20, $50. But check this out. Even if, let's say, Kibly saves me an hour a month of customization, you can't compare it, because when I was using Feedback Genius, I wouldn't even go in there and spend the hour. I just wouldn't go in there because it was just the frustration. Like, we didn't even talk about this. Your user interface is so beautiful, and so as a guy that is not a tech guy but still likes to do it himself, it's a question of whether you're going to implement or not. And so I hope that makes sense, because there's something that's more powerful than money and more powerful than time, and that is execution.
Right, because you were kind of skeptical, as some people are. They're, jaded by promises in the industry. You were saying, we were saying to you, you could get it set up in 5 minutes. And you were saying, okay, yeah, we'll see, right? And everybody always promises such a quick setup. But, when you go in there, on a scale of 0 to 10, and you tell me totally honestly, 10 being the easiest it could possibly be to set up, and 0 being the hardest, where would you put Kibly on the spectrum as far as delivering on the promise, for a 5-minute setup or less?
Yeah, so if for me, a 9, because I have so many different SKUs and different emails. But if you're just getting started and you have like 1, 2, 5, 10 products, it would be an 11, because you just excuse my language, you just click a button and it's done for you. And this is the other thing too. Let's say I wanted to customize. Great, but you could still implement today and then take the next 2 weeks to think about it while Kibly's working for you. And that's why I always look for, I look for things that I could get out there like now, while I spend the 2-4 weeks to kind of perfect it or something. And most people, I think that's the biggest hang up in all of this, like life with business. People wait until it's perfect to put it out there. And you guys are already, like, out of the box, turnkey is like already like 99% perfect, just general perfect. Like, because I know this, because I'm in such a unique product niche, and I have so many products, and it worked for me. And I already had something implemented, so to move everything over and change it, if it worked for me that easily, I can't even imagine, anyone. I can't imagine anyone having a more unique, challenging type business for this to work for than myself. And if it worked for me, then it could work for anybody.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that. Now, here's what it really comes down to is results, right? And, because the switch over, the pricing, all of that stuff about how easy it is, sure, that's a great reason to say, okay, well, I can do this. But when it comes down to it, what kind of results does Kibly get, right? So I want to know, and we haven't even talked about this. You were generous enough to get on the call just because you're just such an awesome guy, and you're in the group, so active and stuff. And what I want to know from you is, what were your results before? What are your results now? Are they the same? Are they similar? Because we have a lot of people who've switched from Feedback Genius, and some of them say they've gotten twice the results. Some of them say they're getting 10 times the results. It really, and we haven't had, it's really in between those ranges. I haven't heard many people say, I switched and I haven't gotten better results, but I want to hear from you. What has it been, what has been your experience with feedback and reviews?
Sure. So with reviews, I don't have that data, and I want to be, as transparent and honest as possible. So I would need to go back and calculate it. What I can tell you is my open rate now is almost 50% open rate. So just knowing what the subject title to use, like just a copy that you guys have pre-installed into Kibly, like for us, that was worth the price alone. So I think my open rate was like below 30%. So it's almost a double in open rate. So if I could assume that then my reviews have also doubled, but I would need to check that. The other cool thing is that with Feedback Genius, because, and it's probably my fault in terms of I just didn't do it to customize it, but at the end of the day, it's the reason why I didn't was because Feedback Genius was so kind of clunky. My confused with customers who were confused because they were getting the wrong email sequence from product, like so they were getting Get Kombucha type emails from products that had nothing to do with the Get Kombucha brand, which I was able to implement within minutes with Kibly to customize it based on SKU. So in terms of like confusion emails that are where people are confused, like wait, I didn't order this. It went from like maybe like 20 a month to 0. So I've been using Kibly now for almost 3 months. Not a single email have I received that where the customer is like, wait a second, why did I get this type, and the other cool metric is, I don't have a number, but I just know just by looking at it, the seller feedback has gone up a lot. Oh, and the fourth, this is actually my favorite metric. People are engaged. Like the emails that we write, I don't know if we could talk, like you guys have something called a nickname.
Yeah.
That is freaking crazy. And again, I don't know if these other companies have it or not, but that's the point. I don't know because they don't, the way they present it, your user experience is so good. You guys have like a quick, 5-minute, 10-minute walkthrough video. And that literally took me the same amount of time to actually implement, maybe even less. I mean, like it took me longer to watch the video of how to do it.
It really does. I don't think you need the video, really. I mean, yeah. It depends on how much you want to know what it's going to do and these little things. But the fact is that you can duplicate John's process. Our founder, John Rood, who is, multiple 7-figure Amazon seller, you can duplicate his process with one click. And I think we actually have a lot of customers who do their own thing, and then they come back to us and say, "Can you reset the templates? Can you, how do I go back to square one?" And then they say, a lot of people want to do the customizations. They say, "Well, why?" Because John's already proven the process. You just click a button, you're going to do the exact same thing that he's going to do, right? So That's what you were saying with the templates and the timing, and sometimes the little tweaks are necessary, but I think that you nailed it on the head right there.
Yeah. The nickname thing is just some of these Amazon titles are all over the place. Right?
Yeah, I mean they're so long, right?
Right. So it's like, thank you for buying your, and then it's like.
So what we do is we actually, if we give people an option, we say there's really two mandatory steps to set up, right? You got to put your MWS credentials in, and then you've got to actually schedule the emails. That's the only 2 things you need to go out. But the third thing you can do is you can set your nickname. So like if you have a very, very long product listing, you can make it be like, hey, here's the kombucha you bought. Right, and it could just be that 1 word or 2 words, and it looks like a real email. It doesn't look like this crazy email. And if you don't do it, then we shorten it to 6 words and an ellipsis.
Wow. So can I just say something? And actually, it's your accolades. So this is the other difference with Kibly. And again, I'm not hating on other companies or software companies, but something I have noticed, and I don't even know if you noticed, if you're even aware of this, is that it's because it's created by people who actually sell on Amazon and are actually thinking as a marketer, not just as a developer. Besides it being so user friendly that you actually want to do it, like I got excited. Like I told my wife, like, all right, I'm going to set this up. Give me 2 hours, and I was done in an hour. I mean, I got to hang out with her, like an extra hour that night. Like, is that? So I want to give, I guess, 3 examples. One, you guys have a Facebook group. So anytime there is social sharing, like I don't feel like I need to submit an official support ticket and then somebody from another country, again, not hating on other countries, but who doesn't even is familiar with your product respond. I can post something up in the group and I get not just your response, but other people who are using your software response and how and from their experience. So it's a collective good. And by the way, this is like a pro tip. Create your own Facebook group. If you guys are selling a product on Amazon, like I have my own Facebook group, and we use it to leverage giveaways, and that's the best advice. 10 years of doing this. If you're selling on Amazon, create your own Facebook group. You could provide a lot of value and then get a lot of value back in return. I digress. The second cool thing I noticed about what you guys are doing is since using Kibly, you've had, I believe, 3 upgrades of improvement. And most people, they set up their software and they set it and forget it, and then only maybe once a year they'll do it. But you're taking real feedback in real time and making those updates. And number 3 is just right there. You're saying like, okay, well, we shorten it for 6 characters if you don't do this. It's almost like you care about your software and us being able to use your software to the fullest, that despite our lack of effort, you're going to do it for us. And I'm going to give another example because I didn't know about the 6 character limit, but
6 words. 6 words.
6 words. Sorry, 6 words limit. Which is brilliant. But guys, if you have Kibly, take the 10 minutes and just write your own freaking short codes. It's so easy. It literally. I'm
nicknames.
Like, what nickname? Sorry.
I just don't want them to get confused. What we're talking about here.
But this is the other thing that you did that. And again, these little things, guys. I also I forced you to do an interview with me because I really like.
No, I'm so down. I was so down. I love talking about Kibly.
So this is the other thing I noticed in the group. You guys, and Feedback Genius has had this for a while now, and that is if you get a negative, if you do happen to get a negative seller review, they alert you, and that is something that you guys did. But the difference is, I believe, so please tell me if this is incorrect, because as a small business owner, as much as I love Kibly, it probably is 1% of my attention of life, of work, which is great because you guys make it 1% and it runs, and I don't have to really worry about it or think about it. And this is an example. So you guys set up a negative, alert, and then you also created something. And I hope I'm right, because maybe we can edit this part out if I'm wrong. But that if they do negative, you have the option to remove them from all future emails, and you have it defaulted to do that.
Yeah, because the way that we have the template set up right now is, and I think the major mistake that most people make when they go on to Feedback Genius or another place where they don't have proven templates and they don't have a way where the sequence has been set up and in the way that it's going to get them optimal feedback and reviews is they go and they ask for the feedback or they ask for the review on the first email, right? And we don't teach people to do that, and we don't have that on the templates because it's about providing value first. So we ask for the feedback on the second email and the review on the third email, because it's actually pretty like you said, this comes from selling a lot on Amazon. John's very, very successful. So he noticed that feedback is very easy to get removed, where reviews is very, very hard to get removed. So if you ask for feedback first and it's negative, then now we check for that and we'll automatically unsubscribe and we won't ask them for a review, because if they are pissed off and they do the, they ask for the, they leave a negative review, the chances are they're going to leave a negative feedback. They're going to leave a negative review too, or the chances are too high. We don't want to risk that. So yes, it's automatically ticked off for people to get unsubscribed if they leave negative feedback. Now you can a lot of times go back and get that negative feedback removed, and so this is really protecting your seller account, and it's really protecting your product ratings. I don't think that this is a feature that anybody else has. It's very powerful, but it's something that we just kind of thought up. in the course of talking to people, and John was like, "Hey, wouldn't it be cool if we did this?" And it wasn't so hard for us to do, so we just kind of implemented it in the course of a day or two. And that's kind of, I think, what you're speaking to is like, we're not just handling all of the support tickets and making it better, we're also innovating. And, that was something we wanted to do because we knew it was going to make you guys more money. And a lot of times people ask for features that are not going to really do anything to increase results. Like, I don't know, and things that are going to maybe get you off in the bushes, that are going to take up more time, more customizations. You're going to think that there's more that you need to do than you actually have to. And we set this up so it would be so brain dead simple. And, so that even if you didn't put your product nicknames in, you would still have success with it. We even did this one thing where somebody wrote in and he said, if you could capitalize all of the first names, because a lot of these Amazon buyers, they don't put in a capital in their first name. They'll just write it lowercase. And then so when you send them an email, it's their lowercase name. And to him, it didn't look professional. And he said, if there's any way for you to capitalize all of these first names, that would be great, because then it would add to that level of professionalism. And I think we did that in a few hours. So, wow. We had, and it wasn't hard. It wasn't hard to do, and he was very excited about it. These are the kinds of things that you can get with us now, is you can be part of the, the development of this very powerful software. So, we do take pride in that. And you were right, by the way. That is what it does.
well, okay. Thank goodness. And it's that little extra step of saying it's automatically defaulted to do this, because even if other softwares might be able to, which I believe in Feedback Genius, they alerted me, and then all I had to do was just go in and click remove. But let me tell you something. That 10 seconds to do it, it's not the time, it's the attention. Like if I'm focused on something else, or I'm running around, the last thing I want to do is stop my life, or stop my focus. I have so much trouble focusing that if once I'm in the zone, the last thing I need or want to do is break that and go do a task. So to know that it's almost like you guys are working for me as consultants, not just as a software, because it would only. And so when you wrote that message in Facebook, it literally in my head, I'm like, okay, yeah, these guys got it. Like, you guys are doing it right, because it's built from people who are also dependent on this thing to work, because they're making their living also selling on Amazon, and they're thinking, well, what would I do for my own business, and then sharing that with everyone. I know it's such a small, so maybe people listening don't understand how massive that is. To just to think it all the way through, not just, we have this software now, we have this new feature for the software. It's like we have a new feature and we already made the settings optimized to work for 99.9% of you. And if you want for it to keep sending messages, okay, well, you could also do that, but it's defaulted to get the best bang for your buck. If that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think you're right. I mean, the best part about this business for me is to watch everybody getting such amazing results. I take such pride in the product, and I've never had the percentage of testimonials. We have we're at this point, we're at about 15 to 20% of our customers are giving us wild testimonials, and a lot of them just coming on their own. So, I really appreciate you doing this interview and telling everybody about your experience with Kibly. We're up on about half hour now, and I don't want to take up too much more of your time. I want to give you one more opportunity to just say anything else to the people who are watching. If there's anything we haven't talked about that you'd like to address, but otherwise from that we can wrap up. But go ahead if there's anything else on your mind.
Well, I guess the last thing is, in terms of integrity, because I just want to speak. Dave, Dave doesn't know that I'm going to say this, but at that event, I looked at it a little bit. I'm like, oh my god, this is like insane. I was so anxious. I was like, dude, just want to let you know, I'm going to integrate it next week, and if everything goes well, I'm going to leave you a video testimonial. Like, not have a student interview. I'm just going to leave you a testimonial. And you were more concerned that it works for me first before getting the testimonial, because your words were, and actually John, I believe too, I mentioned you guys were separate, said along the same things, like, awesome, dude, just, don't worry about that yet. Just get it set up and get it working for you first. So I just want to say thank you, and people listening out there, because you have no idea. I remembered that. You probably don't remember saying that.
Not really. But.
From speaking just for about your integrity and the company's integrity, that's just a pretty cool thing to say to somebody who was just anxious to give you a review. And you know what? It took me 2 weeks to set up. 2 weeks and like 5 minutes, because I waited 2 weeks and then it took me 5 minutes to actually set up. But I'm glad I did. And I mean, it's a no-brainer. It's less money than all these other things. It works 2, 3, 5 times as better, and 1,000,000 times better in terms of execution, because it actually allows you to get set up as quickly as possible. So for people that already have something else, I know it sucks to like stop that and do something else, but the integration over to this was painless. And if you don't have anything yet, then you are so freaking lucky, because you're going to be starting with the best and you don't have to worry about anything else. So man, I hope this helps spread the word, spread your message, and thank you so much for.
Hey, thank you, man. You said it all, and I really appreciate your time. And everybody who's watching, thanks so much. And hopefully, you'll have the ability on this page. I don't know exactly where you'll be watching this video to click a button and sign up. But if not, just go to Kibly.com, KIBLY.com, and, start your free trial. And, like Dave says, most of our customers within the first 2-week trial, they're getting results. So, if you ever in the back of your mind thinking, I don't know if I'm going to get results that fast, well, try us out, because a lot of people just getting results within the first couple of days. So, anyway, thank you so much, man. And thanks everybody for watching, and talk to you soon.